Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Mainstream Mondays here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got my awesome co-host here, John Ward. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and I am mostly okay. I'm not 100% awesome, but I'm mostly okay.
You're not 100% awesome?
Sometimes you just aren't. Sometimes you just don't feel 100% awesome.
It sounds like you don't feel fresh.
I was kind of skirting around that because it's a little embarrassing to say that you don't feel fresh. But
All right,
I'm gonna fix that when we're done here.
Okay, good. Uh feel fresh later.
Yes.
All right, so we're here to discuss the final destination, which wasn't the final destination. Once again, I hate movies with titles that say the final chapter, the final nightmare, the final destination. It just
Never is.
never is. Just don't do it, Hollywood. Stop with the final because it's not, you're just leading up to the next one anyway. If the movie makes money, there will be a sequel,
Well, and the is an annoying word because if you categorize something, you don't include the.
Right.
So it's the name, comma, the. So
Right.
if you were to put this into a video store, let's say like Blockbuster at the time, you would then it would go Final Destination, comma, the Final Destination 2, Final Destination 3. So
That's
it would
true.
be out of order. And so the just kind of messes everything up.
Yeah, that's true. Should have been called Final Destination the
Four,
for the final chapter. I don't know.
but
Whatever,
it wouldn't have been the final chapter
Well, I mean, but I think they were thinking that. Like, I think that was the plan, you
until it
know.
made a little bit of this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of these, companies, like New Line especially, Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger. Well, Friday the 13th, the final chapter was part of what? Paramount
That's
originally.
Paramount.
That
Yeah.
was Paramount. And then the was it Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare was New Line. And I think this is New Line, right? This
Yeah,
the
it's
Final
New
Destination.
Line Warner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did not know for the longest time that Warner Brothers owned New Line Cinema. I did not know. I not till like this year did I know that. And that is so weird. I mean, I don't know why I never put the two and two together, you know? But I saw something about Warner Brothers Discovery, and that one of the things they were going to do was going to do stuff with New Line, and everything. And I was like, wait, what? New Line? What, because and plus it's a company that I don't really see as much anymore, like I don't see many movies, coming out from New Line, have you?
No, I think that they were low, and then of course there was the house that Freddie built, and then they were high, and then I think they went low again, and then that's when Warner Brothers bought them because I think Freddy vs. Jason is it's New Line Warner Brothers, I believe.
Wow, interesting.
I could be wrong about that.
I don't know. I can't vouch for if that's true or not. But anyway, to go into this, this was always the one that I least watched, and it was one I remember not enjoying as much. And maybe I think it has to do with the race car stuff in the beginning because I'm not into race cars at all.
You crack
So
me up with that type of stuff.
I'm just not into it. So I'm just like, I don't know if I want to.
No,
I
no, no.
mean,
I'm not to interrupt, but yeah, a production company for Freddy vs. Jason, New Line Cinema, Camp Crystal Lake. So entertainment. So I'm wrong
oh,
about that.
so not okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if I'm not into something like NASCAR or whatever, I don't really
but you're
want to
not
watch.
into a lot of stuff. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
zombies, World War II, NASCAR.
if there was a World War II zombie NASCAR movie, I would not want to watch it. You know,
That sounds excellent to me.
I know I would
The
not want
guys
to
are
watch
making
it.
a left turn so many times and they're going so fast at doing a left turn that they go back in time to World War II. And there they are with all the NASCAR gear and the cars are like, what the fuck? And at that time happens to be the zombie apocalypse.
You can watch it and or you can make it and I won't watch it. I mean, it's just not my that's
We
not
come
what
up with
I'm
more
into.
ideas on these
Yeah,
videos. I
I
mean, this is
know. This is
so.
gold. This is like we're giving the
I'll sue
world
you if you steal this.
copyright it, trademark it, done. You
Well, and
know.
plus the NASCAR stuff is such a small bit. I mean, it's like, well, I don't like planes, so I don't want to watch the Final Destination. But the
It's probably
plane
why
is like,
Paul didn't watch it. He doesn't like planes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you saw it or not. I'm just joking. I, me personally, I'm not. I mean, I don't know. I always remember that right from even the previews, and so I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try because it's Final Destination, and then I remember that stuff, and then that stuff is like literally. There's only about like whatever the opening scene is, the race car stuff. Then then they come back later to the racetrack to kind of figure out the order of everything, and stuff. But aside from that, there really isn't much with the racetrack. And I just always remembered that. That was always what I remembered. So I was like, yeah, I don't really care about this. So when I
not
rewatched it
not everything can
now,
be Marvel.
I know. If Marvel did a NASCAR movie, I'd probably watch it. If they're actually they did. They did Iron Man. Iron Man 2 had a great NASCAR scene, And I was into that because there was a guy on the thing like destroying the NASCAR. So Mickey Rourke destroying
Whiplash.
yeah, Whiplash, destroying everything. So I loved it. Like one of my favorite
So all
scenes.
you have to do is take something that you love, put it in something that you hate, and then you'll like it most likely.
I'll watch it at least. I don't know if I like it or not, but I'd at least want to watch it, be more interested in it.
It's so weird
Well,
to
could
me.
like Marvel Zombies. I'll watch that.
Well,
I don't like
I'm not
zombies.
into surfing. I don't care about surfing, but I'll watch a movie that deals with surfing. Sure,
Like
why
Point
not?
Break.
Point Break, Endless Summer. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
lot of really good surfing movies out there, but I'm not
I
into surfing.
I tried Endless Summer, couldn't get into it, but
You're too young. You're too young.
maybe that's it. So anyway, moving on. So yeah, so the beginning of the movie is the NASCAR stuff. And it was like so rewatching it now, I actually really, really did like the movie a lot more than I remembered, you know. Um, but like it starts out in the NASCAR, they're watching the things go around the track. One of the girls is not into it at all, and we find out later she like didn't. I guess she didn't even really want to be there. She'd rather be at the theater watching a movie
Yeah,
than.
a romantic comedy is where she wanted to be, but she got dragged there by her dickhead boyfriend.
Yep. And so she was there with her dickhead boyfriend, who I guess wasn't her boyfriend for long because later he didn't give a fuck about her, you know. Um,
No, no, no. Well, I mean, come on. He looked like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
he
I
kind of
mean,
did. He had a Zach
he had
Morrissey
a
kind of
very
look.
Zach Morris look to him. Yeah, which means that all of them, maybe this should have been Saved by the Bell, like Final Destination meets Saved by the Bell.
I sent you something about that, didn't I? You didn't watch it, did you? The music video I sent you that had Saved by the Bell mixed with Final Destination 5.
I don't. I'll have to look back. I don't remember that at all.
Okay, well, I believe I
I
sent it to you,
I
but
probably would have watched it, but maybe not.
I'll have to resend it to you then.
Okay.
And I will. But there was one of the guys, Miles something, who was in Final Destination 5, made a music video on set, and they did it as Saved by the Bell. So it's
Okay.
Final Destination Saved by the Bell. So we can talk about. I'll send it to you, and then we can talk about it on the
On
next
on
one.
on on. Can we tell people number 5? Is that okay to tell people that we're
I mean, I'm pretty sure by now they figured it out. I mean,
okay?
we're gonna do the whole. I think we even said before we're doing the whole series. You know.
Yeah.
By the way, I did send Jeffrey Reddick a email asking about the about who's the one who's sending the premonitions and stuff. I've not gotten a response back yet,
You
So
know,
um,
if he responds and it's a positive response, you should see if he can come on part
oh
5.
my God, he did send a response. I did 55 minutes ago. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, yeah. So,
All
well,
right.
remind people who is this?
Okay, this is the original creator of the first script of Final Destination. He also has done a lot of story stuff for all the other stuff. So my question was, hey Jeffrey, hope you're doing well and keeping busy. Got a question for you. On my show Mainstream Monday on YouTube, we have been reviewing the Final Destination movies, and the big question of who's warning and sending the visions and omens keep popping up. We have our theories. Is there any definitive answer, or is it just up to interpretation? We would love to chat with you on our show sometime. Once again, hope you're doing well. He said, hey, brother, it's great to hear from you. I can only tell you my original intention. In my original script, Alex had a premonition because he wasn't supposed to die in the plane crash, but he caused everyone who got off the plane to cheat death. They took that part out. So, now, honestly, it's a very open question. I have got a few ideas on how they can answer that, but it would take the studio wanting to break free of formula, which I don't know if they'll do. So he's got some.
Send him a message saying, can you, we're going to be reviewing part 5. Can you come on for that? Even if it's
I'll
just for like 20 minutes or something.
I'll do it after the show, but yeah, I'll
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. That'd be great to have him on. That'd be, yeah.
Yeah, definitely kind of cap off the series,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great. But anyway, that's awesome. Did not.
Yeah.
I thought he would just send me it tomorrow or something, or whatever, send me an email back tomorrow, but because he's usually pretty good at responding to
So
me.
going off of what he said, then that means probably Alex was never going to die, but everybody else was. And
Right.
they scrapped that idea. And of course, he wouldn't know that this would become a franchise and make so much money,
Yeah,
at
he's
that
probably thinking
time.
it would be just a one and done thing,
Yeah.
which I think everybody probably thought that, and then it just blew up and became what it
I mean,
is.
there are just some times where, and I mentioned this, I think, in the first one, where how happy were they that they changed the title?
Yeah.
I mean,
Flight 180, because then, like, if you did a Flight 180, then you'd have to have every movie be about a plane crash, and that would be
well,
so.
or you do that weird thing with like Star Wars. So then you do the little circle that says like the flight of 180, and then it would be, you know, death by logs or something, and then it would be, a a story from flight 180, something like that. Is that they would have to somehow incorporate that title, kind of like Naked Gun, how everything became Naked Gun afterwards, which makes no sense to the title at all, because the title should be From the Files of, and then it's
Police
the
Squad.
Naked Gun
Because
from the.
the original is Police Squad. That was a TV show, and then
Well,
they
yeah, so it
decided.
should be From the Files of Police Squad, The Naked Gun. From the Files of Police Squad, The Smell of Fear. From this, so there, each one should not be called Naked Gun. That makes no sense, because each one is a different file.
Right.
So if you still want to say The Smell of Fear for the, for the last one, that's fine, but you can't call it Naked Gun 2.5, type of thing. That makes no
Right.
sense as a title.
So anyway, it's just, it's an interesting idea that his original plan was just that Alex was supposed to get off the plane, but everybody else was like, got off too, which caused their deaths, but it wasn't, so it was all supposed to be like, I'm guessing his idea was like all the rest of them were supposed to, they cheated death, and he is supposed to be helping them, you know which would be great to get an interview with him about that and get a little bit more deep thoughts into it,
Yeah.
and everything. So I like that. All in all, this and it would be great because the next one is a prequel, so kind of comes back around to the original. So having the original guy on there talking about that'll be great. I hope we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
hope we can get him. I hope he's not busy. If not, we'll get him another time and have him come on and chat with us,
Yeah,
whenever.
just kind of talk about the series or whatever it is. Kind of maybe do kind of like even if it's 2 or 3 episodes down the road, just
Yeah.
have them on just to kind of talk about it. So that'd be awesome. So
Well, the great thing about horror film lovers is I am also doing the first time watch Fridays and all this other stuff, and I bet a few Jeffrey Reddick movies are gonna pop up there. I've got a couple that I want to do, and so ones that he's written, and everything. So I bet, I'll bet I'll be talking about him a lot, on horror film lovers. So to go back to the beginning of the thing to start with again is the NASCAR stuff. And they're just all sitting around there. We see each, I think, was it 7 again this time? I think it was 7 or 8.
well, you got 5 behind you. You also had the racist guy.
The racist guy. Okay. So we got, all right, let's look at the people we got right here. So we got all the main people, right? The 2 couples and the security guard. So we got all 5. That's 5. Then you got the MILF and her kids. And
Yeah.
I guess also her husband?
But we never see him die. We just see her die.
Yeah, but wasn't he there?
Yeah. He was the one who was embarrassed for the kids. He's like, "Oh, honey, come on."
Right.
Yeah, when she was doing the tampons.
Yeah, he was doing the tampon. So, like, why don't we ever see him die? Hmm. Anyway.
And by the way, that mother, she deserved it. She deserved to get that rock through her eye. I think in each film, one person deserves it, because anybody that has worked retail, you don't fucking go in 10 minutes before they close
Right.
and basically demand or beg for service. And so here she is going 10 minutes before they close,
Well,
and the employee
originally she had a appointment.
doesn't matter. Your
Um,
your son's soccer game should not make me late getting off work.
right.
So she deserved that rock in the eye for doing that. Every single time when I'm at work and I have something to go do,
Right.
always somebody comes in like 10 minutes before I close.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
No,
"Oh,
it
I'd like to
happened
just,"
when I
I
did
mean,
retail too, and
if people don't understand that, if people need to watch that film Waiting with Ryan Reynolds to
right.
understand what it's like if you go in 10 minutes before a place closes. You're going to get spit and pubic hair in your
Hmm.
meals. And I remember I was dating somebody who wanted to order a pizza 20 minutes before they closed. And I refused to do it because they're already shutting stuff down. They want to go home. And
Mm-hmm.
and she like insisted. I'm like, "No, then you freaking order it. I'm not going to eat it because there's going to be spit in it."
I know when I worked at a restaurant, we didn't do, as far as I know, they didn't do that to any of the customers. However, when I worked at a restaurant as a host, and people would come at the last fucking second when everybody's ready to go home, and everything, and it sucked. It was not fun. So I get it. But it
It's and the thing with the mom, it was for a girls' night out. Did you really need to get the frosting done? Did you really need to get the petty done?
mm-hmm.
Did you really need all that? How about just a quick haircut, 15 minutes,
Yep.
and then tip the girl like $20, and then go, "Okay, I'll come back on a different day." No, and instead she had to go through the entire thing, and then she asked the one chick for a couple, for a glass of water. I wanted to see her get the water and then spit in it and put it on the table.
Uh-huh. That girl was really upset. You could see, the tension there. But anyway, we are getting ahead of ourselves. That's later down the road when all that stuff happens. We haven't even got to that yet. But yes, she also, by the way, that the MILF girl was a very famous for being in Liar Liar. If you did you ever see that with Jim Carrey?
I did. I don't really remember anybody in it.
Well, yeah. Well, the most memorable scene in that movie is him. I guess he can't lie, right? So he starts saying, "Hi, nice fun bags," and he starts saying all these things and making these like obscene gestures and getting slapped by her in the elevator. You know,
Okay.
so that was one of her most famous things. Then later she was in Feast. You know,
Oh, I know Feast. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Feast, and she was in a show I love to death called Ellie Complex. So I'm a huge fan of hers. Krista Allen. I love her to death. And I forgot that she was in this movie. So it was really nice when I saw her and I was like, ah, Krista. All right, cool.
Well, you had made a comment earlier that you liked this more. So I went back and forth. When I first saw it, I loved it because I think I forgot that part three had the subway ending
mhm.
when I watched it, and I went, "Oh shit, we're getting two premonitions." And
Right.
then when I did my, and I really liked the movie, and then of course I saw it in the theater in 3D, and I didn't realize, I figured it was 90 minutes, which it wasn't, but I figured that's probably what I thought. And then when I rewatched it, when I did that marathon, I'm like, did I like this? It's like 82 minutes.
Was it
Did I
82? I thought
like
it was
this?
92 on HBO Max.
No, it's the shortest one out of all of them. It
This
actually even
one?
says it. Yeah, I even have it up right here on Final Destination Wiki under trivia. It's the
Oh.
shortest one.
I thought it was 90 minutes.
No,
Maybe I'll
trivia. This is the
Oh
shortest Final Destination movie ever made. It's only 82 minutes
wow.
long, which is not even an hour and a half long, which is why every other movie in this, which is what every other movie has been in the series.
Okay, maybe I was thinking of another movie that I watched today. I watched 3 movies today. So, I don't know,
Yeah, so
you
that
know.
kind of bugged me when I watched it, and then I didn't like that they did like the just the reference to the first film when we'd had 2 other movies. That annoyed me. But then I rewatched it last night, and I figured it's 82 minutes. Why not just watch it again? And I liked it.
So
So I
you
went
kind of
from
go
liking it
flip-flop.
to disliking it. Yeah, to liking it
Uh,
again. And I kind of like that everything is quicker.
yeah.
Like they get right to the racetrack.
Right.
They
Like
get right to the premonition.
there's no leading up to the racetrack. There's no leading up to the premonition. Everything is like basically starts at the premonition, where
Yeah.
because he starts going, wait, that line and that line, that was from the very like beginning of the movie and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
because you had like at the beginning of part one, like the mom with the suitcase and the dad, and then the second one, they were packing the car, and the dad would say, "Be careful." Okay, then you got the third one where they're just walking around the carnival.
mhm.
This one, it's like, boom, let's we're gonna cut all that stuff out. We're gonna cut out them picking like
10 minutes of like stuff that you really don't need, honestly. And now in Final Destination 3, it kind of works because the boyfriend, you get more of him in the first 10 minutes or whatever of Final Destination 3, and then he dies, you know?
right.
So you get a little bit of like you could tell like how much they love each other, and you know what I mean? You have that little like kind of romantic thing that you don't get later because, he's dead. So in this, the boyfriend and girlfriend are already together, and like this
Well,
doesn't
you
really.
you get everything at the racetrack. You get that the Zach Morris guy is a jerk. He's obviously a drinker because he's
Yeah, he's
drinking out of
drinking out of a
binoculars.
binoculars. I
Yeah.
love that.
Then his girlfriend is whining and moaning and groaning because she wants to go see a romantic comedy.
Hmm.
And then the other girl is like, why are we here to see an accident? This is kind of weird. And
Hmm.
the other guy is just kind of, our main guy is just kind of there.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
okay,
there.
I'll go. So you kind
Yeah.
of get everything you need from them,
Yep. And then
just in
all the
those
other guys,
moments.
you don't know that one guy's racist necessarily. He doesn't come off
Well,
that way.
when our main character sits down with all the food, you
Right.
could clearly see a swastika on the guy's arm.
I didn't even notice that. No, I didn't notice that. So,
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, even though other people have burnt to death in these movies, like the 2 girls in part three, I guess that was more like fire and electricity. But I am so glad that the racist got caught on fire and dragged on the street.
He
because
got lynched and and
because
like
I was watching it and I was thinking, man, how much time does it take to hate? Like you can have your issues, but like this guy must just sit around and hate all day long. Like how
yeah.
much that must take so much energy, and just I mean he's probably would, if he didn't die, would probably lose time on his life because of all the hatred that he has. And it's like, I don't get it. And then you have the black guy, the security guard. One, I think they should have added in a line where he says, hey, I saved you, didn't die. But
Right.
he's going to AA, he's reading the Bible, he's trying to be a nicer person and a better person, and he's talking to his mom. And well, this guy's outside putting, was gonna burn a fucking cross.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had to go buy the cross, get the gasoline,
It must have been
find
a
out what his
little
next.
weird when because they never showed this, but they show him come outside the house to see the burning guy, and everything. But he must have noticed there's a cross in his fucking yard, you
I would
know?
think so. I would think that a cop would, or at least him or somebody would be like, why is there like a cross of gasoline here?
Right.
Well, and the
Because
guy's on fire. So why wouldn't the cop maybe think that the black guy set him on fire?
I mean, maybe they did, but there's no proof, of anything, like nobody saw it. There's no witness. You know what I mean? There's nothing to prove that he set the guy on fire at all. So maybe they would have done that. But we never get that. Like, we never get that uh thing. We never get that scene.
Yeah, there's like no police investigation. There's nothing in this.
Yeah, which okay, so the first movie had the two nosy cops who were there the whole time, right? Second movie, I felt like didn't have any. It didn't have any cops, did it? I know the third one did because it was driving me nuts that I was like thinking,
Well,
oh
they
no.
they did, but it was only at the office. Remember when they were, or at the station? Because remember the chick who smokes all the time.
Oh, that's right. But they also had the cop like there. Remember, we had that discussion and number and
Oh yeah,
two.
yeah, like the
The
highway
cop,
patrolman was there. Yeah,
yeah. So he was there already. So there was already that police. Like anything you could say about cops, it's more likely the cop would say, "I have it handled." I'll talk to. You know what I mean? Like
right.
everything would get solved that way. The third one, they've got those little nosy cops that are, because the girl fucking told everything. Fucking Mary Elizabeth Winstead just told everybody, like told the cops everything, and the cops were just
Everything.
like,
I told
"You're
them everything.
yeah, that's what she said," and I'm like, "Everything? You're gonna look fucking cuckoo." Like I don't care if don't care if like that's the truth. People don't understand that, like that's weird to them. So anywho, so yeah,
Well, do you think that the racing death, the premonition with everybody dying, but do you like that? What out of the four that we've seen so far, what opening one do you like the best?
oh, the logs by far is
The
my
logs by
favorite.
far.
Yeah. That's my favorite. And that'll always be like seared in my head. Like driving down the road, like it's the one I think that's like most identifiable to everybody, and stuff. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I
Because there's
mean?
memes about it. Yeah.
Right. There's memes about it. People are actually terrified of that thing, but they were terrified before that movie of that. And then all of a sudden now it's like even worse. So poor people have to drive those logs, man. They get like nasty looks probably all the time. Um,
Well, and I think this one could have been. I mean, I like this one. I probably have to agree with you. Maybe the logs so far is my best. Is the best one. But I think one of the problems with this is that the 3D and the CGI. I guess because of the 3D made stuff look a little CGI.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Also, I mean, like once again, I'm not really into NASCAR, so I didn't care about watching them, but I did care about the crash. Like I was excited to see the crash because I knew like the crash wasn't just a crash, it was the crash and then people getting like maybe a tire flow flies up and hits them, but like really everybody's just panicking. And that's what causes everything is the panic. So then people are trampling over each other or getting, falling into things or whatever. And the stadium seating is breaking, you know. So because everybody's running on it. So it's like literally if nobody panicked, would they have all died? It
Yeah.
comes to your question, like
Well, and I like how the one girl goes, "Is this safe?" And then the other girl goes, "Well, there's a fence."
right.
You
Exactly.
know,
Oh, offense. Well, that's gonna
that that
that's gonna
that
stop
that
everything.
fixes everything. I wonder what, because I've seen on YouTube where they have like a professional scientist, talks about science in movies. So I wonder if you could get somebody for these movies to like a professional NASCAR driver to look at that scene and say, is this possible? Would this actually happen? Or somebody like an airplane pilot, or maybe an engineer to say, well, would the plane blow up like that? You
Right.
know, have logs come off trucks like that. Is that possible? Or, I'm curious to see what a professional driver would say about that.
Or the airplane, like would that set off something that would actually destroy the airplane, or was that just all like made up for the movie, and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if once again, I think a lot of it was panic. And I thought a lot of it was people falling into things because they were, running and tripping and, over themselves. So I mean, and then remember they got like couldn't even get out because everybody was like crowded into the like one little spot or whatever. And I thought that was crazy.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
problem with humans. It's fight or flight, and I think it's more flight than fight. So, I I know where I'm at. I mean, when we were filming the film Scare Me, and we were shooting it up in the woods, and this is like 3 a.m. I went to go take a leak. The forest is nature's toilet, and all of a sudden I start to pee, and I could hear. It was probably like a raccoon or something. I freaked the fuck out.
Were you
I,
pissing on a raccoon?
I think I was by mistake because I had just like a flashlight, and I could hear this thing growl at me, and
I
my
would growl
heart
at you
just
too.
was just like that, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I just ran all the way back to the set, and I tripped and hit, and I could hear somebody go, John down, John down. It's like, I wasn't gonna, I don't know what it was. I wasn't gonna fight whatever it was. It was, flight. I just took right off. I
Whatever
don't
it
I don't even
was had piss dripping off of its head, so it wasn't
Yeah, I don't.
happy.
I don't even know if I put my junk back in or not. So it's one of those things where I think people just freak out instead of
Yeah.
fighting. So you probably have like 100 people freaking out, and then you have somebody like our lead character who would rather stay and fight and try to get people out.
Yep.
What
I
is his
mean,
name? I guess we could call him by his character name. Let's see.
his character name
Nick.
Nick.
Nick, and then Lori is his girlfriend. Hunt
There's Hunt.
Wynorski. Okay, are we doing a little Jim Wynorski there with Hunt Wynorski?
I don't know. I don't.
Because then we
I
have
didn't even know his last name.
then it's Janet Cunningham, Sean Cunningham,
Oh,
and I think that's it for the movie names, if that's intentional. But yeah, then like the black guy was George.
I love George. Did you know who he is? Do you know who that guy was?
Uh-uh.
He was Bubba in Forrest Gump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bubba Shrimp, Bubba
Oh, he's
Blue.
lost a lot of weight.
Well, then he gained it years later. He was on Law and Order. Was it the new one? Law and Order. Organized crime. With
I have no idea. There's like 20 of them.
I know there's Law and Order Organized Crime with Chris Maloney, who was Stabler. Stabler comes back for his own show, and he's the big drug dealer guy, on that show. So it's really
I know.
funny to see
I
him
know
as the
nothing.
kingpin, basically guy. And and then when I looked him up, I was like, oh my god, it's Bubba, you know.
Okay, well that's
So
cool.
yeah, he's doing good for himself. So I mean, he's working. That's
And
what's important.
how hot was that girlfriend with the red hair and the blue eyes?
Which one?
The main guy's girlfriend,
Oh yes, but she's a big time star
Lori.
too now. Actually, um, she is
Miss what?
uh
Chantel is her
she
first
was
name.
she was a Becca Butcher in the new Boys in the Boys show. On Amazon, and it's a
I know of it. I saw the first season, but that's it.
I think she was in the first season. She was Billy Butcher's wife. So
No
yeah,
idea.
yeah, Carl Urban's wife in it. So
Okay. Yeah, still have
anyway,
no idea.
yeah, still have no idea. I know,
I
but
I watched it, but I have no idea. I don't remember a thing from it.
yeah.
I liked it, but I just don't
After
remember.
you were done with the season, you just forgot about it. um.
Yeah. It was one of those things where I just didn't want to pay for more. So
Oh, okay. Well, wait, don't you? Oh, yeah, you don't have Amazon. Like Amazon's. Well,
no,
it's
I don't have Prime. No.
no. But anywho, it was a good she's in that, so she's doing pretty well for herself. Um, that's a good gig. Let's see, the main guy, Nick, Bobby Campo, um was on that TV show Scream. He was on the Scream series.
I don't remember him. I've seen all of them, but I don't remember him.
He was in the first season and I think second season for a little bit. But he's been a TV actor doing a lot of TV shows. Oh, he was in Seance the Summoning. I heard of that. It's one of the Seance movies or whatever you can find on Tubi. So he's I guess he's still doing stuff, Like that's the beauty that you see when people are constantly still working, you know? That's good. Like, after Final Destination.
You know who's not in this?
Who?
And there's no excuse for him not being in this?
Tony Todd?
That is correct.
What?
He couldn't be he couldn't be a voice on the radio.
He
He,
could
he,
have.
he couldn't have been something. They couldn't. I mean, they're in a movie theater. Have him do an announcement.
Or yeah, or I like the radio thing because people are checking the radio all the time. They could be like, you know, death is coming for you. Something like that. And
Yeah, it could be something like, try death coffee. Something where why would you not? That's why I'd originally mentioned to you that this to me almost felt like a Hellraiser movie where it's like, oh shit, we got to make one or we're going to lose the rights.
mhm.
And which is why I think why it's only 82 minutes, why it's kind of to the point. It was, oh, well, part 3 made a lot of money. And so let's quickly get one of these out, let's retain those rights. And it's interesting because even in the credits, the beginning credits, they don't show you scenes from the first 3 movies. They show you like animation.
Right.
And even the ending of the film, it's like the animated bones.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we're going to save on some special effects here. We're going to get that CGI truck to hit them at the cafe. And then we're going to cut to animation. And that's going to save 2 or 3 days on shooting. That's going to save us like $1 million. It just is, even though I enjoyed this one, I think it was done for other reasons than, hey, let's make another Final Destination.
That could be. Um, Haley Webb, who played the other girl, the one who got stuck in the car wash, Janet, she was also on Teen Wolf. I'm sure you didn't see that show.
I know
You
of
know,
it, but yeah, I've never
yeah,
watched it.
I
I've seen
feel
the
you missed
original
it.
two movies.
Yeah, well, the first movie is great. The second movie is fun, but not as great, as the
Well,
first
it
one.
can't be, but it does have Jason Bateman, so
Yeah,
you gotta like it for that.
there's a great line in, I think it was Entourage, where they're like oh, she's talking to Teen Wolf over there. It was like, Michael J. Fox is here. It was like, no, from the sequel. you know, and I laughed so hard because yeah, they're talking about Jason Bateman.
It's so weird with him because I used to have a massive crush on his sister, Justine.
Yeah.
Like I watched Family Ties because of her, and then she was in that film Satisfaction, where
Mm-hmm.
she's like front on the poster, like front and center, and Julia Roberts, who was an unknown, is in the back,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's flipped. So now Julia Roberts is on the front and she's not on it at all.
That's
And
funny.
she was, I mean, she was on Arrested Development with Jason Bateman, on a couple episodes. But it's just like, man, she was like the thing for a little bit of time. He was nothing, and now boom, he's Ozark and
Yeah, he
weird.
kind of is. It's sort of like a Robert Downey Jr. thing without the drugs. You know, like
Well, he got his niche. That Arrested Development got him that kind of quick talking, kind of clueless in a way.
plus
You know,
he looks good to be like those characters. You know what I mean? Like he's a good looking dude who can play these roles. You know what I mean? And like he looks like a father. And everything.
yeah, and he's
And
always going to be like the business guy.
yeah,
Type of thing. And then he's
so
going to be the guy who's like, no, we can't go drinking. It's that type of thing. So,
I love Game
but
Night. A lot of people I know hated that
oh,
movie, but
Game
I
Night was
fucking love
funny.
it.
That
Yeah,
was funny.
I
That
loved
was
it.
funny. Good cast in that. So yeah.
There you
So
go.
yeah.
Um, so we are still talking about Final Destination 4, aka the Final Destination. Um,
AKA
so
Final Destination, comma the.
right. Justin Wellborn played a racist. That was his name in the movie, by the way.
Nice.
Racist. You know.
Honey,
So
I got the part. What part is that? Racist.
I was always thinking, like, I don't know if I want to put that in my like I don't know if I'd want to put that in my resume, acting resume, like, blah blah blah. I played Jimmy, I played Bobby, I played racist, I played, like somebody might look down and go, I don't know, like, do we want to,
Well, that's all they called him in the movie. They just kept saying the racist throughout the
yeah,
whole, whenever they
I
brought him up.
makes sense. He was in I guess he became like more of a horror guy after this. He was because he's done a lot of horror, but I'm trying to look at, like, he did a movie called Pelt. Um, I heard of that movie. I have not seen it, but he stars in it, so that's interesting. He was in The Bay. I've heard of that one. That's not
Oh,
the
the
TV.
Bay is
Yeah.
great.
He was in.
It's not TV. It's Barry Levinson. It's a found footage film that's on 4th of July.
Well, there was also a TV show called The Bay. Which
Well, which one is that? Does it say TV?
no, it's the movie. It's the Barry Levinson one.
Such a great movie.
And he was in that. He had
Did you ever see it?
he was an activist in that. So
Oh, so he dies.
probably.
So yeah. If you haven't seen
I
it, you
have not
should.
seen it. Yeah, I'll see it at some
Have you
point.
ever seen those pictures of fish and they have the thing in their mouth? It's like a parasite that's in their mouth.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what this film is about, is that
Oh,
parasite.
cool.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's I'm so surprised that it's Academy Award winning Barry Levinson is making this film.
He was in a movie called Southbound. I heard of that. I haven't seen it. And he was in a couple other things, but it looks like small roles. He hasn't really broken out and become huge star or anything, you know.
If I got to work with him, on the back of the box, it would say his name, the Final Destination, comma, racist.
Yeah, pretty
That's what it would
much.
say. That's
I
what I
mean,
would have him as.
that's probably what he'd be most known for. Let me see, because sometimes IMDb shows you sort of what the person is most known for or whatever.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and so he's most known for being Carl in Justified.
I know
Um,
Justified. Never
he
seen
was
it,
on
but
a TV show called Godless on Netflix, and he then The Final Destination and The Signal. So
oh, The Signal's good.
yeah, he was Ben Capstone in The Signal. So he was the lead in that.
Hmm.
So there you go. He went from the racist to a lead starring role in a pretty big hit movie.
There you go.
Um
Oh, and then we're missing out the mechanic.
yeah, but the mechanic really pissed me off because I don't remember like much about him or whatever. And then all of a sudden like they talked about him and I was like, "Wait, there was another guy there, I guess, you know, but I like didn't remember him. And I don't, how did they figure out he was a mechanic?
His jacket was there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they saw it on the security camera. And I do not blame him for telling that guy to sit the fuck down, because why are you standing up? You're blocking people's view, you idiot. Sit down.
Yeah, I forgot
Just like movie
who's,
theaters and all of that stuff. So, which is what happens at the movie theater in this is a guy stands up to take his coat off and the guy goes, sit the fuck down.
it's funny because there's the mechanic's girlfriend and there's the racist wife.
honey, I got the role. What role? Racist wife.
Racist wife, you know, racist wife. Because remember he wanted to go back in and you know, my wife's in there.
Well, I don't know
And
why you would tell her to stay. I mean, she's at the top. All she has to do is just walk right down. You know,
why did they go? Like, why didn't she follow him anyway? You
he
know,
told her to stay.
why? I mean, I don't understand it at all.
I
Like,
don't know. Maybe he was going to start a fight with the guy, and he's like, "Stay here." And I mean, nothing good happened with the mechanic's wife. I mean, she got killed by the car tire.
mm-hmm. So the mechanic's wife and he didn't get mad at it, you know, like, you know, he didn't take it out on the poor security guard or anything, you know. Like, well, I guess yeah, I guess he didn't, you know, he's whatever.
No, he
He's
was just like an angry mechanic. You know, I guess probably trying to impress the girl that he's with. I mean, she looks younger, and you could tell she was impressed because she, you know, he told the guy to sit the fuck down, and she kind of smiled at him. So, you know, he'd get some nookie later on.
I mean, that was his
So
wife, so you know, or whatever. So anyway, whatever. So he, you know, all these people everybody ends up dying except the people who, you know, get like, you know, out or whatever, who will leave, and then except who was the one? Who was the was it the mechanic's wife that dies like after they survived or whatever?
yeah,
Like
she's the one who gets creamed by the tire.
yeah, like the tire just comes out like
They go
you know.
out after the premonition and the accident is already happening, and she's screaming at them. And that's when
Right.
you see the tire like flip over and it just creams her, just like decimates her. So
Yeah, and I
so I
mean,
guess now this kind of goes back to something that you had mentioned in one of the other videos, where what about all the other people who survived?
what do you mean?
Were they meant to survive? So except for these people, our main cast, I guess all the people who died were meant to die, and all the people that survived were meant to survive. It
Mm-hmm.
was just these 7 or 8 people.
That were all they're supposed to die in the uh that like because it's just like the first movie, right? The first movie, the people get off the plane, right? Everybody else there was supposed to die in the plane,
But
right?
what if somebody was supposed to get off the plane and they didn't? What if God or whoever it was, because God is brought up a few times in this movie, that what if God said, okay, we're gonna 8 or 9 people are supposed to die on this plane, but so our main cast gets off, our 7, 1 or 2 people stay on board, and what happens if that happens?
Well, then they would most likely like okay, so let's look at the airplane situation again, right? Say the airplane blew up, but say that one of them weren't supposed to die. What if a couple of them actually survived? You know, that plane blowing up, like they maybe instead of them getting exploded, maybe they fell off or something, like in into the water or whatever they were
I was
at,
just thinking that yeah, the people
Yeah,
get
maybe they
sucked out. What if they land in like a
water or
lake that the
something,
plane is
like
going
and
over,
they
or
survived, but they
a
didn't.
giant mound of mattresses, that are sitting there?
Most likely that's what would have happened if they weren't supposed to die then. That's what would have happened. They would have probably fell into something or whatever, because death would have left something open for them, because they weren't supposed to die. Now, these people were, supposed to die, like the people that are in this Final Destination, and the people that lived, they were supposed to live. Those people that survived, that happened to not that weren't supposed to die in the dream, because that's not everybody died.
Well, what
You know,
about all the NASCAR drivers? Did every NASCAR driver die?
no, because it was only like how many? Well, I don't think so. I don't, I'm trying to remember the wreck, but I don't think the wreck was so bad that every single car crashed, right?
Well, so I guess that's, I mean, because you kind of brought this up, but I don't know if you remember it or not, but it's like what, so I guess the people, so except for our main cast, the people who
Right.
survived were meant to survive. NASCAR drivers, you know, onlooker, whatever it is, and the candy person, is there, or the broadcaster. They all survived. They were meant to survive.
Hmm.
But if you died, except for our main people, then you were meant to die.
Yeah, most likely.
So, I mean, I'm just wondering if somebody happened to miss, and it's not part of our main cast.
Now,
What if they got underneath something and they were supposed to die, but they're not part of our main cast?
now it brings up a good question too. Later, we get the double vision. Double vision. But we get the second, visions where he starts seeing the 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 movie theater, right? Basically, we get the race car track, then we get a movie theater scene where everybody blows up, right? Now, he saved everybody from it. But did he? Or did death come after them after that? We don't know. That's never discussed. But I'm wondering if because death was supposed to kill all of them. That was the plan. And then he did everything he could to just stop it, right? And I
Right.
think death was probably pissed. Like, God damn, that's a lot of people I could have killed.
And that
You
was a
know?
lot of work for me to do to get that explosion.
Right. I know. That was a lot of work. He was
I mean,
I mean, death was like, I'm nailing you. You are not doing, this. And he's like, fuck you. I'm stealing a stick and I'm putting
he's
it
like,
on
I
fire and
already
I'm
did it to a girl in part 3. Don't think I won't do it to you in part 4.
no, the nails. I'll nail you,
Yeah.
you know. Uh so Death should have been just like, you know what, you're not on my list right now, but you're on my list right now, buddy. Just killed him and said, now I could kill
He
everybody
just
and
draws the arrow, the guy is way down here and he just draws the arrow up. Now
well,
you're up here.
and I hated that ending, that last line in the movie of like, I guess, were we all supposed to be here? Like, no, you fucking weren't. Death was coming after your guys' asses. Like, this was not. Like this is not like, oh, death is just leading you up to get
Well,
hit by a
that's
truck.
unless the car wash was a mistake. It was a malfunction.
Well, it's sort of the doors kept messing up or whatever the thing kept messing up the
So it'd be
sunroof.
a car malfunction and a car wash malfunction. So if what he's saying is correct, if all of them were meant to be there anyways, like they weren't supposed to die previously, then that
Eh,
means that anything that happened to them,
but then
including the brunette, was an accident, like a true accident.
including the movie theater, because all three of them were at the movie theater, and that girl Janet, the brunette, was supposed to die there because that
Right.
was in the vision. Is he was gonna get the girl, she was gonna say, I'm gonna stay here, and him and Lori are gonna leave, and then everybody's still gonna die, right? So now it was interesting. Like, I really like the idea that he went to do everything he could to stop death from, like, just taking everybody out, right? Which we never see that before. We never see him go and do everything he can, like the person do everything they can to, like, actually prevent the big
No,
accident.
no, we do.
When?
Well, like part three, with when the with like the swords coming down and the guy, the black guy gets his head caved in. They went to try to save him.
Well, they
That's where
would.
I came up with that if they didn't try to help people, they would probably still be alive. It's when you're intervening is the problem.
Yeah, but like,
But in this case, no, it wasn't the problem. Is that he did stop it.
my big problem with that is because you're right. Like, in part three, the guy's going like this, and all that stuff's happening, but it's all because the people are come in there and they're kind of coaxing it all, like they're making everybody get all hyped up,
they're
and
all they're all on like steroids and
yeah,
stuff, and plus having a good looking girl in there, they're like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
if they weren't in there, then this might have not happened.
maybe, but the death would have still tried to figure out some way to kill him. He might
I
have
mean,
still tried to go for the swords. I mean, that just seemed like an easy thing, you know.
so do you think God was like in part four? He's just like death. You know what I want you to do? I want you to go. I want you to figure out a way of having a guy's intestines sucked out of his ass.
Hmm.
So go make it happen.
Ugh,
I don't care how you do it. I just need for his intestines to come out of his ass.
that was pretty
And that's
gross.
like, I'm on it, God. Gotcha. He always goes to a
Um,
swimming pool.
yeah, water. Did you notice? Like, I guess because they were supposed to both die at the same time, right? Remember, they both get smushed by the thing at the
Yeah.
same time. Do you think that's why they both were supposed to die by water? Because, like, he died with the swimming pool, and she was supposed to die in the car wash, which was water, and the water
Right.
came up. Is that interesting? Like, did you think about that? Like, they both had
I
water in this
I
stuff.
wondered why it was water when they died under concrete.
Well, I don't think that, like, how you died originally was the same way you were gonna die.
Oh,
They've
no,
never
no, no,
done
no,
that
no, no. I'm not
before.
saying that, but I'm not, but I think it's weird that they chose water for both with with the
I mean,
I do know people who don't like car washes because they are afraid that their car will get stuck in it. I do
yeah.
know that, but I don't know people that are afraid of swimming because their intestines will get ripped out of their ass.
Well,
That
watch.
I
There's
but
an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that did that. That handled that, where the guy's like, don't get anywhere near those things, or they're gonna suck up all your intestines and stuff, and everything. And I was like, now that I'm watching this, I'm like, did they watch Final Destination? Like, is that is that how they came up with this idea? You know, or is that
then
like an
yeah, who
urban
knows?
legend? Is that an urban legend or something?
I've
Of
never
like,
heard it. I don't even know why that thing. I don't think we even saw the little guard pop off the hole. Maybe I missed it,
I
but
don't
there's
know.
normally like the guard that's on there. So yeah, you don't get sucked in there because I guess golf balls or a tennis ball or a toy would get sucked in there and
Mm,
mess
cause a lot of
everything up.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So I mean, and then you have the I hate calling people like black guy. Then
George.
George, then it looked like no matter what he was going to die. So that
Right.
was
Right.
no matter what he was going to get hit by that ambulance, which really sucked.
Well, and he tried to kill himself too, but it wasn't his
I liked
time.
that. I like that he just tried all these different things and
So messed up to be
nothing.
like, I liked that he tried to kill himself. I like that, you know.
Well, I don't think we've had that in these films so far.
No,
Is where the guy's like, no, I'm gonna. And maybe one of them, the guy says, "I'll die on my own terms." Maybe it's the Zach Morris guy in this one. But I remember somebody saying, "I'll die on my own." Oh, it's the guy in part two, the black guy in part two
oh, that's
with the
right.
glasses
Yeah,
who's on
he
the
said he was gonna
motorcycle.
die. Yeah, he said he was gonna die on his own terms,
Yeah,
or whatever.
and then you had
Um,
George trying, but his what did you like better, the girl being hit by the bus or George being hit by the ambulance?
the bus. Oh, in the
Yeah,
first
in
movie.
the first film, yeah.
Um, I both of them you don't see coming, at all. Really, like it wasn't like something you were thinking. And I kind of like George's thing because it really was like you don't even see him like get off into the street, like they don't show it's even a street, so you have no idea. And so it I think I looked down for a second and then it happened. It was that quick, you know, and I had to rewind it because I was like, oh shit, I totally just missed that, you know.
Yeah, I think I like the girl being hit by the bus. The only better only because it's the first film and you're not expecting things like that to happen. So I think it
Right.
had more of an impact.
Ah, nice pun.
But I I when George got hit by the bus or by the ambulance, I'm like, fuck, dude, shut the fuck up and pay attention. Because all he is talking, and he's talking about his wife, and he's talking about this, and he's talking about that. And it's like, pay attention, dude. Why are you
Mhm.
talking so much? You're here to try to save these two girls, and instead you're just blabbering on about your stupid wife that nobody cares about. It's like, no wonder you got killed,
Which one?
George.
George had a wife?
Yeah, he
I don't
says it
remember.
right before he gets hit by the car by the ambulance.
Oh, okay. How
You
about?
can't really hear it. It's in the background. And
Oh,
he's
okay.
like, "Oh yeah, my wife." It's kind of quiet. "Oh yeah, my wife did blah blah blah," and he's just talking and talking and talking. And I think I even said, "Dude, shut up! Why are you talking so much? Be quiet."
Hmm.
And then he
Yeah.
gets hit by the ambulance. I'm like, "See, that's you weren't paying attention. You were blabbering on."
And it's so funny because he has that premonition right then and there, right, of everything. And then he still can't even save George, you
No,
know?
because it's like instant.
Yeah, it's like an instant. Once he gets out of that, like George is talking, and then bam, it. Um, and
The girl,
so,
the
but
girlfriend, the redhead, had a nice premonition death.
yeah. So, did you think that was a little strange on this one? That sort of like they both had, like it sort of maybe like because okay, so the first movie was a guy, right? It was Devon Sawa. The second and third movie are girls that have the premonitions, right? And this one, they have the guy and the girl ends up having premonitions too. So maybe they
Mixing it
were
up.
trying to like, yeah, they were trying to go, well, we had them for, whatever. Let's just have two of them.
I don't think hers was a premonition though, because it never like left her eye. It never came out. I think
Yeah.
hers was a coincidence
Okay.
that she could hear the person had the cell phone, with the racist music on it,
But
and
then she
then
started seeing the omens. She saw the thing at the top, whatever that was, the glider at the top, and the girl's like, wow, that's good, that's dangerous. Somebody could get hurt. or
But I think
whatever.
anybody would think that. I mean,
Yeah.
because the big shadows coming over you, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, where that come from? But that was sort of an omen because I think it was a thing for the guy who got hit by the bus or car or whatever it was. Was it ambulance? What was it that he got hit by?
Who, George?
Yeah, ambulance, because they
Ambulance.
saw the little snake on it, you know, which I thought was pretty cool. Like they had the little snake scene. They showed a little snake being.
All in 3D, but 2D.
I don't, because I never watched it in 3D. I didn't go to the theater to watch this. You know, I
I
watched it
tried to
in
grab
2D.
it, and I could just never grab those things. I'm just like,
Mm.
damn it, I almost had it. It
I
was
almost
right in
had
front of
it.
my face.
I know, but
Stupid movie. Make me think I could grab things.
mm. I hate 3D, like 2D 3D movies these days when, like, I was watching Bait, the shark movie and everything. It's supposed to be Bait 3D. And so they were like, "Look at this." And I'm like, and I forgot that this was supposed to be a 3D movie. So they're like, "Look at this." And I'm like, "Why is he pointing it at me?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Would you
okay.
like some water?
Right? Like, it's what is the point? I don't know. It's annoying.
It's just something to aim. I mean, remember Friday the 13th Part 3?
I know.
Everything was in 3D. They would be like, pass me that joint. It'd be
And
right up to the camera.
that is cool though, because
And the
then
popcorn was going into it, and juggling. They were juggling.
at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, they have like 4D events. And I don't know if you ever heard of 4D events or anything, but they're like it's like 3D. You watch the 3D thing, but then they like have like squirt water at you if there's like if it's a pirate thing or something and the water's supposed to come up, you feel water, you have all these different sensations. I think that's kind of cool. Like I feel like that would be a more better experience than, like
Well,
if
some
it
movies do that. Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you go see it in the theater, if you sit up front, and if it's a packed house, so you got people in the back, they throw during the wedding scene. You're hit with rice. When it's raining, they spray. They do like the spray bottle at you.
why don't people ever do like William Castle shit anymore where shit like
I'm
actually
gonna
buzzes at you?
insurance.
Uh, fuck
I
insurance.
think back then nobody was going to sue, and if they did sue, they just got paid off. So if a skeleton was flying down from the ceiling, and broke and landed on top of somebody,
Right.
they would just figure out a way to just pay them off, because back then, who would know?
Right.
You
But
know
now it's all over the place. Now it'd be on the internet and that
Oh yeah,
broke
yeah. The
and that
skeleton
happened.
falls, and you, oh damn, I broke a nail. I'm suing you for $1 million.
Nice. I would love to get $1 million for breaking a nail. But
Hangman, even
hey,
worse.
yeah. Anyway, to go back to this movie, because we like to go sidetrack. We don't like to stay on
It's true.
topic.
Stay on topic.
Uh-huh. So, but I don't know, like there was a lot of cool stuff. Oh, all right, so you always ask this question by the end of it, like, what's my favorite death? You know? And I was trying to think of like what was my favorite death. I guess the racist burning guy. I think that's my
Yeah,
favorite
that
death,
is definitely my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he like I think I applauded or wanted to
There's
applaud.
irony in it that he was going to set the cross on fire, and instead he's on fire.
Yeah, he got on
So
fire and dragged, like
yeah.
I said, it was like a lynch mob thing,
Well, and
and
it's funny that none of that is, like you'd mentioned, like when somebody noticed this giant wooden cross, like on the news, you would think that something would be said, that racist person ironically is, something is, I mean, you could look at it, since
Mhm.
there were cops there, there were the firemen there and all that, it would be like black guy, cross, racist, fire,
Right.
like they could
And
be able to
connect the
put,
dots.
yeah, and that's never brought up on the news. Instead, it's just local man
Yep. Oh
And
well.
did you
And
notice that his tow truck is used later on, like the same company? I think it's like Destiny Tow.
well, they also say like that he was, like he was towed, right? But they don't say that he was the tow truck driver, you know? It's almost like the whoever did the news bit didn't understand like who this person was. He was just some local
Well,
guy.
that's why I think the writer of the script, who's one of the guys who wrote the original, it's like, dude, just got to get to it. Got to
He
get to
wrote
it.
the
Give us,
second one.
yeah, give us the second one. And it's like, we just got to get on with this. Okay. We're going to do a news report. Just say Joe Bob caught on fire, was towed. Okay. That's all we're going to do. And then just move on. We're not going to get into racist. We're not going to get into cross. We're not going to get into any of that stuff. We got to, we're already over by 2 minutes. We want this thing to be 80 minutes, but because that's but did you notice that with his truck, the Destiny truck, that it's used later on in the at the car wash?
What?
The Destiny tow truck,
No.
Destiny Tow. His truck is called Destiny Tow.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, then it's a woman who's talking to the brunette, like a tow truck driver is talking to the brunette, and on the back it says like Destiny Tow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you and I, because you messaged me, but I noticed it too, was the Claire,
Clear.
Claire, Clear, Claire, Clear Waters.
Yeah, clear rivers waters,
Yes, yes, that's it.
And I thought, wow, and that's cool because look, I was thinking about it. So I have Crystal Lake shirt,
Oh,
and
okay.
everything on right now, and uh there's Crystal Lake water, you know, and I'm like, and so I had and I bought this. I bought Crystal Lake water because it's actually really good. It's good tasting water. However, I was like looking at Clear Rivers water going, oh my God, somebody needs to market that because that's a gold mine right there. Clear
Well,
Rivers water,
my theory is that her family, who's rich, owns a water company. And in tribute to their daughter, they named the water company, or at least that particular brand of water, after her because she was on fire. And what puts out fire? Water. So it's a tribute
you're
to their
going to
daughter. So so even if the second film isn't mentioned in the fourth film, it's still connected because of Clear's family water
Mhm.
company. So that's my theory on why it's there.
Well, did you notice that they kind of do the same thing they've done in the other uh two movies, the sequels, where they say, "Oh, I looked on the internet and I Googled premonitions and I found out blah blah blah." You know what I mean? And I'm like thinking, like now I kind of want to Google premonitions and see what I can find.
There's
you know?
actually a cool film with Sandra Bullock called Premonition.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I don't really even like Sandra Bullock, but I've actually thought it was a pretty cool film.
I like her in
And
Speed.
I liked her in Speed, Demolition Man. I like her when she was younger. Once she
Kind of
got
became a
big,
star.
yeah, and she got the plastic surgery because her face doesn't look right.
I
And
don't know. I
yeah.
like Miss Congeniality. I like a couple of her
Oh my
like
God, those are
things.
I did a back to back on 1 and 2 of those. And the first one was enjoyable for what it is, and the second one was awful.
Oh, I never watched the second one. Didn't care about that. But I'm saying the first movie was fun. It was cute.
It's to quote you, it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's
I
cute.
liked it. I liked it.
So it's
It's
but
a
yeah,
chick flick.
Premonition is a good film. So it's to
Yeah,
kind of tie
and
it
I
back
like I like
into to
Sandra
this.
Bullock, but and I saw Premonition years ago and I liked it. I thought it was good. You
Well,
know.
and wouldn't you think with the Googling and the Google, the Facebook, that you wouldn't this already be like worldwide known?
That
Like
all
we're
these are
now,
happening.
yeah, we're on the fourth film. These are three things that would probably be investigated by all these TV shows.
Or
Would
like
probably
or websites that have things.
websites, TV shows. There would
Um
probably be documentaries. Here's something that they could do. They could do a film team is making a movie about the first film, and the set burns down, and of course somebody saved, like a PA saves 7 people, and then they start to die, and it all ties back to the first film or something. But you would think this would be known by now, that they wouldn't have to Google, premonition, and then, oh, there's flight 180.
Right. Which they don't mention Flight 180, I don't think.
It's in a newspaper.
Oh, okay.
He puts down, like, I think it's actually from like a printer.
Oh,
So he
okay.
printed it up, and it just says flight. Yeah, it says like the something flight 180. And that's what really annoyed me, is why are you just mentioning the first film? Because it's like the writer is from the second film. So why not at least mention the second movie? I mean,
Right.
it could be so simple that he could just put down paper and go, airplane, logs, roller coaster. What the hell, man? Now racetrack. It'd be very simple. But once again, it was probably about, let's do it. We got to get this thing in at 82 minutes. Let's go.
Yep.
We'll mention one movie, and that's it. That's all you get.
That's all you get. One
All you
movie.
get.
You get time for one movie. That's it.
Well, that's how fun. And to me, it didn't seem rushed. It was well directed, and I thought the writing was fine. Thought the acting was fine. The
So
effects
what
were a little iffy, because of
what
the
turned
3D.
you off the original, like the second time, like when you watched it before this third time?
I'm now in the middle. So really enjoyed it, didn't like it. Now I'm in the middle type of thing. And it's because it just, once I realized when I saw it, because I put in the DVD, I'm like, this is 82 minutes. All the other ones were like, because I watched them, remember, like all back to back. I'm like, all of them were like 90 minutes, 92 minutes. And then I was watching it, and I'm like, okay, we're just starting right off at the race.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I got through it, it's like, this reminds me of one of those Hellraiser or Children of the Corn movies, where if we don't make it, we're going to lose the rights. So we just got to get something out, get it out.
And they did.
And they did, and it made money, hence part 5. So, but I mean, I still like it. It's just, I don't like when people do that. It's like, so when I did Meat Oak Massacre 4, I made sure to tie in 1 through 3 into part 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that's important. You have to respect what came before. And even if it's a throwaway line, like, oh, the first 2 films took, wow, there were all those murders in Nebraska. And then they had the murders in Texas. That's 1 and 2, and then 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to acknowledge these things. And I don't like when movies don't do that. I think that each film should reference the movie before. And according to Tony Todd, from like the 5th movie, this has been happening for a long time.
Right.
So really they should have, which would be kind of a waste if they wanted to make more sequels, but they really should have. When they Googled, the guy's like, man, I found like 100 of these things. There's a roller coaster, there's horses, there's a ship, so what if one happened in Australia where somebody had the premonition?
That's interesting, like a horse racetrack, kind of thing. That could be I guess a something, I don't know how that would kill everybody, but but I know what you're talking about with the horses is from the 3rd movie.
Yeah, going around, whatever happens. And it's because this would if it did, it would happen everywhere. And that's kind of what I think Tony Todd was alluding to, is this isn't the first.
Mm-mm. And this isn't going to be the last.
Hope not.
This is going to be, yeah. Well, I mean, the 5th one was that we're going to get to next week, is a prequel. So, sorry, spoiler alert,
Well, and Paris has been brought up in a couple of the other films too.
Yeah, I noticed that. In this one, like, they talk about how we're so excited we could go to Paris. And I'm like, is Paris like is it Paris like a running joke or something with it? Like, let's all go to Paris and die, like,
I guess maybe, yeah.
I don't know, but that was the plan, is they're gonna go to Paris, they're gonna die. or whatever. They're always gonna die in these movies. And I really didn't like that. I did not like them dying from the truck. Like I just thought that now that you say like that maybe they were running out of things and maybe they were running out of ideas, you know, and everything, and they were just like, we need to wrap this movie up. It needs to be 82 minutes. Let's just have them all just die in the cafe, which was called Death by Caffeine. I thought that was always
Yeah.
funny. I thought that was I want a drink there.
At the time, I thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. I mean, I thought the beginning credits were awesome, and then when that happened, and it switches to the animated, skeletons, I was like, oh my god, that is so cool.
Yeah.
But now when I think about it, when it's just like, I don't know, because back then I wasn't making films, I wasn't doing any of that stuff, I wasn't really thinking in that mindset. But now it's like, okay, they're sitting in the cafe, there's the green screen on the window, let's just put in that truck. That's going to knock $1 million off the budget. That's
Hmm.
going to knock 2 or 3 days, off the budget, and we'll just animate it. We'll just make it like the beginning of the movie. But it was still
Yeah.
cool. I mean, it looked cool.
Well, did you also notice that like the credits of the movie did not come until after the actual deaths and stuff happened or whatever? Like the credits, normally the opening credits are like first, you get the credits first and then you get the movie, then the movie happens. This movie actually completely starts with the racetrack. Then after all the chaos and all the stuff happens, then they do the opening credits, the animation. So I thought that was
Oh yeah.
pretty neat. It showed that this was gonna be a little bit different than and you said it's 82 minutes. I didn't even notice that. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that makes total sense because the time, like when I was watching it, went like that, you know. Um, and I mean, it does not. So we were talking before that generally speaking, there's 7 people, right? That get off, it's like something close to that, right? And I started realizing why there's 7 people. You know why?
Why?
Because as a writer, it totally makes sense. If you have 7 people, you have 10 pages that you usually put up before death, right? You don't want to have it like be like death, 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 then like lull for like 40 pages and then death, you know what I mean? A couple more deaths or something. You want deaths to be spread out, but like every 10 pages or so. That's typically horror, like slasher or whatever, kind of thing. And so what they probably did, my guess is a lot of times they would write, okay, there'll be a death, and then for 10 pages, there's the lead up to the next death. Right? Like them talking, arguing, whatever, then they go to the other next site, somebody dies at page 20, page 30, page 40, and so the 7 people would be about 70 pages. So that's after 20 pages of setup before then, you know.
I mean, it's
So
possible, but I mean, is it 7 lucky?
yeah, well, not in this case.
No.
Not in this case. 7
Yeah.
is very
I mean,
unlucky.
it's very possible what you're saying.
I
So,
don't know. That's what I was thinking
I,
today.
well, I'm looking here on the wiki page here, and it does say, um, so the Final Destination was meant to be the last one. It was followed up by part 5. They took the idea and brought it back to its roots, very literally.
What do you
So
mean?
I guess that it followed more of the structure and time of the other movies.
Of the
So
first one.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and then it does say here, according to the producer, Tony Todd was set to reprise his role, but he was unable due to skeleton scheduling conflicts.
Skeleton complex. Okay.
Skeleton conflicts, yes.
Sounds wonderful. Yeah, I mean, And that's, that's what pisses me off about, like, okay, so if we didn't know that the scheduling conflict, I guarantee you there'd be like this like hatred in the horror community. How dare you not cast, Tony Todd in this movie, or whatever. And then Tony Todd will have to go on Twitter and be like, "Hey guys, I did not, reprise my role because I was busy shooting another movie, and they were in a rush to make this movie because they were about to lose the franchise. So sorry, you know, that might literally have been the reason. And like they just didn't give him enough time to take
Yeah,
off on the, for the next project because they were in a
but
rush to
even
get
but
this
even
done.
if it's like a radio voice, I mean, shit. I mean that's easy. So I don't know why they couldn't do that. So
Money?
um, yeah. Well, money is another thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I thought the vehicle that hits them at the end in the cafe, it was a truck,
right.
right?
I think
It
so.
says here the bus that hits the cafe at the end of the film, unless this is maybe the alternate ending, has the number 180 on it.
I don't remember.
Because it does say on here that there is an alternate ending, which might be on the DVD, but I don't
I
have
don't
that.
have the DVD. I need to get a DVD of it or Blu-ray of it. I don't think I have that one yet. Because once
Mm,
again, I didn't like it originally. I actually like it a lot better now. But still, this is like out of all the ones I have, so number 2 is my favorite so far, right? And that might change, whatever. But it's number 2, number 3, number 1, and number 4. This is probably still my least favorite so far. But that to me also doesn't mean much because it's almost like I love every single one of these movies. It's just I like one's a little bit better, you know.
well, okay, so it says here alternate ending. So I'll quickly read this. Nick realizes that he has to kill himself for the chain to end. So he puts out the literal fire and jumps out the window. So this is at the mall, killing himself. Later, Janet and Lori embrace, thinking that it's all over. Suddenly, a car hits a crane with the AC unit. The unit drops and crushes both Lori and Janet. This alternate ending contains a contradiction to the apparent rules of death design according to the rules unless the person is next to die any suicidal attempts and
Mm-hmm.
possibly any attempt by another party on the person's life will fail. Two examples of this are Eugene Dix and
Right.
George Latner, both of whom made failed attempts at suicide. This contradiction is the possible reason it was not chosen as the canon ending. In another ending, Nick is also crushed with Lori in the escalator instead of it being a premonition.
Hmm. I don't like either of those endings
So
anyway,
that's
so
it doesn't mention a bus. So I wonder if they just wrote it down wrong because that was definitely a truck because they were doing
yeah, it's definitely a
construction.
truck, so
Yeah, maybe the truck number is 180 or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember it being a bus. It was definitely not like a school bus or anything. I don't know.
Uh-uh. That just must
Um
be a mistake.
yeah, I mean, which would totally make since that's not because they wouldn't want to do the same thing as part 2 anyway, you know. I mean, it's the same writer. No, not was it
One of
part
the two
2?
writers. Yeah.
Was it part 2 with the bus? No, it was number 1 with the bus.
One is with the bus. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the bus hits a girl, right?
Yeah, she walks out into the street like yelling at
Yeah.
them, and then she's not paying attention and just gets slammed by the bus. Yeah, because the writer of this is one of the two writers of the second film, and then they went on to go do the butterfly effect,
Yep.
which
Um
is funny because reading this and seeing some other stuff, they're sure into their characters committing suicide. So I wonder because they never got to use the suicide endings, they're like, oh, screw it, we'll put that into butterfly effect because the alternate ending on butterfly effect is suicide.
Jesus. The studios are like, you know what, you're too dark, you know. We're not letting you guys have your suicides.
Oh, that alternate ending, the butterfly effect is so good. So
Um,
good.
so I was gonna say, that is sort of strange because like so he can't what's his name? George can't kill himself, right? It won't let him kill himself. It keeps like he even said he tried putting the stuff in the car, like, and
Yeah, the exhaust.
exhaust in the car, and then he is it didn't it wouldn't turn on or something, and I'm like,
Yeah, like the
oh
car kept
shit.
turning off. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and then he was trying to hang himself. We saw him trying to hang himself. It just wouldn't work. And he's like trying, like, hey, let me just kill myself so I can help everybody. But they're like, no. But then it wasn't his time. He wasn't supposed to die then anyway, you know? Right?
But who dies before him for him then to get hit by the ambulance?
We
Because the
forgot
two
to
girls,
mention we forgot to mention the mechanic died at his job, which when I started watching it made me think of you because they come over there screaming at him at a fucking construction site or whatever, not construction, not construction,
it's like a car
mechanic.
place,
Yeah, car mechanic place. And
like
I'm
a
like thinking,
detail place. Yeah.
oh God, we're gonna have another Final Destination 3 incident with a nail gun or something, or whatever, because people are just yelling at each other. And then that guy's like, take him outside. So they all go outside, and the dude almost dies from the car or whatever,
It's a van
the
that
van.
once again, it might have not happened if they didn't go
Yeah,
there, because the girl screams, she walks backwards into the van that goes down, and the guy's like, what the fuck, who did that? And that's when he gets out and they jack it up again. And
mhm.
then that's when the whole thing starts, where the guy does the chew and he puts it on like the fan, and the fan wobbles it and it falls. So if they never showed up to save his life, he just
Might
would have
not,
been working on a van.
but it gets to a point where it's almost once again kind of like the scene at the in the gym, because the guy gets
Oh,
cocky.
very similar to the
Yeah,
one at the gym.
because the guy gets cocky and says, well, I guess it wasn't my time. And that's like, fuck you. Like, but this case I forgot how they did it. He just like something goes right through him or whatever, goes through his body.
It's the van comes off the rack and then it's going down, but it's attached to a rope,
Right.
and it goes, it's like right in front of him, like he has like a foot, and he's like,
Right.
oh shit. And then that's when he walks out and goes, I guess it wasn't my time. And
Right.
that's when the rope breaks, hits something, the giant like air or gas thing,
Compressor,
like the,
compressor.
yeah, that shoots out like a missile and hits right into him, and he goes up onto the fence, and his back, because it's 3D, comes out on like these little like stars or like rectangles,
I
and
mean,
it
that
just
was
goes
a
like,
pretty cool
ugh.
death, I would say, but racist still wins. Um,
Yeah. Well, and that guy wasn't really being, because he goes, I'm just trying to move on with my life. My wife is dead. And I think he has the right to be a little cocky of just like, oh shit, I just survived, and
right.
then, death is like doink, and then
Yeah, like, oh man, oh, okay. Because like death probably, I mean, at that point wasn't, didn't, because like I believe like if death really had wanted to kill him that way, it would have, it would have happened. So it was probably planned that he was gonna move out of the way, right? And then death was gonna be like, I'm gonna kill you. But
yeah.
it also helped that he was cocky so that the death could feel like, you know what, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna get you anyway. I don't know. I like that scene. I mean, I was thoroughly surprised. I was very happy that I'll rewatch it probably now, with happiness, And I'm excited to see, like, I'm excited for the next one, because I don't remember the next one either much, except that it took place on like a suspension bridge.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. Like, it's funny because most of the time, if I haven't seen the movie, all I remember are like the openings, or whatever. And I think that's really what you're supposed to remember, like those are always set up like log, roller coaster, racetrack, suspension bridge, whatever else they do next, and
Right.
airplane, like all of that, like you remember, those are the things you remember, is the opening, how everybody dies.
Interesting that you're not mentioning the ending premonitions.
Well,
Subway or movie theater.
that's true. Because I totally, like, it's so funny because like the subway thing was like supposed to be what, 2 years, or not 2 years. I don't think it was two 10 months, maybe. I don't know, whatever it was.
It was
Something
a little bit later. Yeah.
yeah, it was a little bit later because she was now already moved to where she was supposed to be living and everything,
The
with
Big Apple.
Big Apple. And which makes me wonder, is every one of these movies set in a different state? Like, I don't know. Like, because
Well, probably they're all set in Canada, but they're meant to be, yeah, probably California, New York.
yeah, I don't know. Like, because the second movie, when they go to find Clear and everything, are they like close to where, is it a quite a road trip to go find Clear? I mean, we never talked about that, but I wonder about that.
I mean,
Um,
I'd have to look back. I mean, it's yeah, I don't know where each film is supposed to take place unless they
didn't
mention
mention
it.
it, yeah. Which I think Final Destination 3 was one of the only ones that actually mentioned like the state that they were in because of like them going to the Big Apple and stuff. Like, like I think she mentions where she's at, or whatever. But there was nobody left to tie in from the first movie, you
No,
know, right? And because Clear died, and um, fucking Devin and Sawa got hit by a brick. So
hit by a brick. I
he'll
love
he'll
being hit.
never he'll never live that down, man. If I ever
That's my favorite death. I maybe in part two is hit by a brick.
I don't know if I should ask him this, but I kind of want to be like, Devin, what did you think when you first saw the Final Destination 2 and saw that your Alex was just killed by a brick, like of all things, to be killed by. You're probably like, I didn't care,
I mean, it could be worse. He could slip on a banana. The guy does slip on spaghetti.
That's true.
So,
Uh, so, oh, and the kids slipped on whatever it was, water. It wasn't water, but it was something in the mom's salon.
oh, it
Um,
was it was like some hair gel or something like
yeah,
that went onto the floor, and I do like that one line with that, and where the MILF mom goes, but don't worry, I won't take my eyes off of them, and the person behind the counter goes, how about military school?
well, yeah, it's funny. Uh,
Which is where I
yeah,
think all kids should go. So,
I went for
ooh,
summer school once. It's not the same as regular military school in the summer, by the way. It's a lot more relaxed, than you don't have to wake up and make your bed or whatever they make you do. Like, it's just sort of like,
not really
you're
military school
there.
then.
Yeah, it's not. It's summer school, at the military academy. It was kind of I didn't mind it, or whatever. I didn't like just being around dudes during the summer. Like, that was kind of a bummer, but but it was punishment because I fucking could not I was failing school, at that time, and I had to get my grades back up, so um there you go. I had to go to fucking Fork Union Military Academy, Puma, you know. And hey, was all right. I had a good time. So
at the all boy dance. It was
we did
awesome.
not have a dance during the weekends. We either could go home or they would take field trips and shit.
You, Moody, put that dress on for the dance.
There was one girl, by the way. This is so random, but there's one girl that worked there that was like our age, like in high school or maybe a little older. But like she worked there doing like groundskeeping stuff or whatever, and every guy was drooling over the one girl,
Of course.
and I was just like, look, I mean, like literally at that point I didn't care. But that's when I fell in love with Britney Spears. So anyway, moving on.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah, it's the same year Britney Spears got famous, So
No, I guess she
yeah,
did it again.
she did it before, she started it in my
There
heart.
you go.
All right, so I guess that about wraps it up. Was there except for ratings, and everything. Um, how about I gave the last ones? Like I'm trying to remember what I gave the first one, I think 4 stars, and the second one maybe 4 stars. The last one was like 3.5, maybe. So I'll give this 3 stars. You know, it's not too bad, but it's worse than the other ones. It's like my least favorite still, but it's it's not like I can't give it less than 3 stars. What about you?
Well, first I'm going to say that I think we did both of our favorite deaths, right? That both of us agree
Yeah.
that it's the racist.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
forgot what least favorite does because I
least
forget to.
favorite. So I think mine would probably be the car wash, only because it's simple.
Well,
Before
there was nobody
on
died in the car wash though, so that's not
yeah,
death.
I don't think it's that. The last one, I thought the fast food place was too complicated. This I thought was a little too easy. So maybe
Nobody died
that's the
though, so I
weakest
don't
one.
think that counts. Because they ended up saving her from it,
Hmm.
so it doesn't count.
Okay, so maybe ambulance,
Ambulance.
because it's just not that big of a deal. It's funny, but it because it comes out of nowhere.
It's funny because
But
because you just don't expect it at all.
yeah.
I think my least favorite is the truck at the end. You know, because it just sort of was like, okay, we're just
All right,
wrapping it
I'll go
up.
along with that.
We're just wrapping it up, and we're just gonna just have a truck come in and just wipe everybody out, and then we can end it. And then we don't have to bring them back for the next one. Like,
Why can't one person just survive? Like, why
well,
does it have to be like three people survive? Like, part one was three, and then part two was two people, but then we found out that they were killed in a wood chipper. Okay,
yeah,
which is
that was.
weird. And then
Yeah, once
three,
again, I think it was
everybody,
because they couldn't bring them back or whatever. So they're
yeah,
just like, yeah,
maybe.
fuck it.
And then
Um,
three was the subway, so
Subway,
that
and then
ended
all of
up
them died. Yeah, and they
all of
all
them died
died.
in that one. And
Um,
then in this one they all die, but why do we need all three? Why can't the guy or just the girl survive, and like she's just by
like
herself?
maybe we saw the guy get out of the way, and then watch the other two people get killed, or a girl, one of the girls. It doesn't matter. It'd be really funny if it was the girl that just didn't believe all this shit. Janet or whatever.
Oh, and
It's
then
just
and then we
like,
find out later on that like the guy let the two girls survive, and then at the end of the credits we see him with the Zach Morris guy. Like they're secretly a couple.
it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, he died. He died with intestines going right up.
Well, now he's in a wheelchair.
Well, I guess they never. Well, I mean, because he never came back. They were pretty much saying he was dead. He was
I mean,
dead.
he is dead, but I mean, but let's be a little topical here. And secretly, they were dating,
All right, sure.
and this was all an act. This was all a ruse.
So okay, so now you have to give me your rating.
Um, I should write these down. So what? One I gave what 4 to four
I
and a
think
half,
so.
something like that.
4.5. Yeah.
And then two, I did 3.5 because I didn't like the ending because I didn't like all the water stuff.
Yeah.
And then 3, I think 3.5 also. And
Yeah.
I think you were the one who commented that it was a tie.
Yeah, it was a tie
Um,
on that one.
this I'll give. I'll say 3.
Just say 3 as well. So
Yeah,
tie as well on that.
yeah. I think it could be 3.5, maybe, but I don't know. I'm gonna say 3.
Yeah, I still dislike it more than the third one. Like, I mean, I think the third one had a lot going for it, but like, I really like the roller coaster death. I thought that was way cool, right? Like, that was like one of my favorite things watching. I mean, this one had the race car stuff, with racetrack stuff was great, but like I said, most of it was people just panicking and running and falling and tripping and impaling themselves and stuff, or getting or things collapsing on them, which I'm like, would all of that, it would all of that have happened had everybody not panicked,
It's
Like,
just
I
human
don't know.
instinct, man.
I
It's all
know.
about human instinct. It's you know, most people don't fight; they run, and then when they see something that's unknown, you have to shoot it and kill it.
So there you go.
You know.
Don't pee on a fucking raccoon again.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it could have been a skunk. It could have been, I don't know. I mean, I didn't smell anything, but man, did that freak the shit out of me. And I knew what type of person I was. Like if I was with somebody, I would have split.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been like, no, quick, come with me and like grab them. Would have been like, just
See
you're on
ya.
your own. You know.
Yeah, you were definitely not in the military then. You know, never leave a man behind. You know,
Oh, fuck that.
you're just like, fuck that shit. I gotta go.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Oh, we forgot to mention there was another racist guy. There was a racist old man in the movie who like started. We forgot about all that
Oh
subplot.
yeah, and the cowboy.
Yeah, and the guy who like randomly they forgot about, who survived, I guess he was in the
Well, the
hospital or whatever.
cowboy was on the floor below the racist guy.
Right. Yeah.
That was so my grandfather. Man, my grandfather did not like Asian people because he was at Pearl Harbor and he was in World War II. And man, it didn't matter. I mean, yeah, it didn't matter if
That
you were
racist
Japanese
guy,
or
that was so
Chinese
funny.
or
Yeah, he was
yeah,
like, he's
I
like,
killed more of you.
do you know how many of you I killed when I was in Korea? And he was like, I'm Chinese. He was like, yeah, what's the difference? And I'm like, God damn.
Well, that's true. That's what they think. That's what
I,
my grandfather thought. If you looked Asian, you were Japanese and you bombed Pearl Harbor.
man.
So that was the thing. Yeah, he did not like no, no.
Oh,
So
well.
but that was kind of funny that they. But that's so dumb. Is why wouldn't you just turn it off, right? So the nurse or whoever that was said, I need you right now, and he's like, oh, okay, so I'll just let the hose run. You couldn't take 2 seconds to turn it off.
Yeah. Well, we needed it because that was how death was gonna come. Death was, if he had turned it off, I bet death would have turned it back on. Was that it's
I thought
on?
that was a decent little twist that we didn't know that the cowboy survived
Yeah,
and kind of threw a wrench in
their
you
plan
know,
of like their
yeah,
seating arrangements, or
yeah.
whatever. So no, it was good. It
And
was
if the
good.
cowboy just stayed in his bed, he would have been fine.
Yep.
Instead, he had to crawl on the floor, and that entire thing just fell around on top of him. That
Yep.
bathtub or whatever that is.
Anyway, that was cool. Like, we forgot to mention that, and I forgot to mention that because there's a lot of racial shit in this movie.
Yeah, you
Um,
texted me saying that.
yeah, I was like, there's a lot
I
of
thought you were
racial
just talking
slurs.
about the just the racist guy,
I think
but I
I was at
completely.
that time, and then later I was like, oh my God, there's more. Like, what in the world is wrong with this movie? Like, good God. Because remember, the third movie, no, second movie had a
Excuse
lot
me.
of drugs in it.
Yeah.
This has a lot of racial slurs. What is wrong with Eric Bress that he has to have racial and drugs and stuff? Good God, he can't write for now. Nowadays, this is not tolerated, by the woke community. The woke community would hate the racist and homophobic and other shit that they do in these, these movies.
Well, now remember, now you're a Kevin Smith fan, and in an evening with Kevin Smith, which I think is excellent. There is a young new lesbian who comes up to ask him a question during the Q&A, and she brings up Chasing Amy,
Mm-hmm.
and she thought it was putting down lesbians,
Mm-hmm.
and he points out, no,
That
no, no,
no,
no,
that the idiot is the one who says all these things,
yeah.
making
So
it moot, right?
yeah, and then she goes, oh, okay, and then she kind of walks away. But it's true. It's if you have the racist saying the racist stuff, or the old man who was in World War II, who might have been in some sort of Japanese internment camp or something, then you can make him racist,
Mm-hmm.
because that's who he is. I
Oh,
mean,
I
remember,
agree.
Tarantino got away with saying the N-word how many times in Pulp Fiction?
Not by Spike Lee.
So, but Samuel L. Jackson gave him a pass.
Well, no, and Samuel L. Jackson actually stuck up for him when Spike Lee was saying that stuff about how dare a white guy say those words or write those words. I'm like thinking, I understand, but like if that's the way people talk. It's not like now. No, in Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino himself does say the N word a lot,
He says it many times. He says, "Do you think
and
this is dead inward storage?"
yeah, and
But what
I
I got from that is that showed his position within that organization, that he can talk to Jules like that, and Jules can't do anything about it.
true.
So to me, that's what that meant, is that it wasn't just Tarantino using the N-word all over the place. It was that it's his position
Yep.
that, and if Jules could shoot him, he would.
Yeah, he would definitely shoot him.
Yeah. So there
Oh,
is, and I think that people need to look into this kind of, to go back to the Final Destination of, the guy with the racist is a racist, and we're happy to
mhm.
see him die by fire. And the
Yeah. I mean,
old,
if he hadn't died and he had lived or whatever, and he was like the last one, he was completely like he was always gonna live. People would have hated that because I think people like were probably cheering when he was, being dragged and on fire. So yeah,
yeah, because they didn't redeem him. It's
no,
it's not it's not like he pushed the black guy out of the way at some point, like in front of the ambulance, let's say. It's not like he's like, watch out, and moved him out of the way, and like he was learning, like he wasn't being racist anymore.
yeah,
It's
he never had a character arc that like went there. It's
nope, he
just
was
sort of
just
a
a racist.
he was
That's all
just
he
he
was.
was just racist. That was his name, and with the racist wife, you know. Uh, so there you go.
Guess there's somebody for everyone.
You know, that's so true. All right, so thank you so much, John, and
Of course.
everybody. We'll be joining. If you'll be joining us next week, we'll be doing Final Destination 5, hopefully with a
Five.
special guest. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, fingers crossed. We'll find out, but who knows? But I know at least us two will be back for that and everything. So it'll be fun to see sort of what our closing thoughts are. And then we can definitely do our little ranking at the end where we say which ones we like the best. So far I've given you mine, but so far, but I have no idea what the fifth one will be because I have not seen
Yeah,
it forever.
I don't think there's really a bad film in this. Obviously, some are better than others,
Hmm.
but I could sit through this. I could sit through all 5 films with no problem at all.
Yeah, I don't think the fifth one, if I remember correctly, I really didn't. I enjoyed it. You know, I think I'm gonna predict. I don't have a premonition right now, but I'm gonna predict that I'm going to like it a little bit more than this one, but not more than the third one, or whatever. So
But
Or
you already kind of know why I like it. It's that twist ending at the end when that whole thing right there just sold it for me. I mean,
but you
when
love
all the
those. You love that when that
yeah, I
happens.
mean, I was in
Yeah.
the theater like, oh, oh my god, this is this prequel. I was
Yeah.
all over it. So
I to me that I mean that's cool, especially in this one. But I just we'll talk about it because I don't buy it because it's not 1999 or 2000 or whatever.
well, look for that stuff. Look for the
Yeah,
time period. See if you see a calendar, maybe, or something, a card tag, something that would not be that time period. Because maybe they focused on that. Maybe they, maybe if you do see a
maybe it
calendar, it
was, and
says,
maybe they just never talked about it, which makes you not know it's a prequel. You know what I mean? Like, and now all of a sudden, if you look back at it, maybe we'll see something. Maybe we'll. I'll be
I'll
looking.
rewatch it again. I mean, I couldn't believe that I didn't catch it because not once did they bring up any of the other movies because they can't.
Yeah,
It's prequel.
it's a prequel.
That right
It's
there
like the
should have been a
first one.
sign.
Or one of well not it's not the first time this has happened. We find this out like that's happened years, like Abraham Lincoln, somebody got a premonition during Lincoln's assassination, right? That was brought up in one of the
Yeah, they
movies
had
or
the
whatever.
line through the picture, which would be the bullet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, did somebody have a premonition during Lincoln? And did Lincoln have a premonition about his own death?
I don't know. She says that the photographer could never like figure out what it meant, like what it was.
Yeah. Oh well. Anywho, thank you so much. We'll see what we think about the next one next week. And everybody else, join us on TikTok because I've been putting up clips of all of these and haven't been doing a great job this week because I've just been so busy with a lot of stuff. So I will get back on it. You'll have more clips. You'll have 7 clips each week, so one a day leading up to the next one. So,
There you go.
all
All right,
right.
cool.
Well, thank you guys so much for checking this out and hope you
Thanks,
enjoyed it.
everybody. Thanks. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.